Bobby Black, why do you think that SmackDown provides the best jobbers?
Well, we have people on SmackDown who know how to lay down and take a 3 count in style. Look who has been with the company for almost 10 years and is still a jobber and still is loved by the fans.
Jason Sensation.
Kung Funaki. Thank you. You've also gotten other, you got talented jobbers who know how to make somebody look good but take the pin at the end. Charlie Haas, Jimmy Wang Yang, and of course, I consider this guy a jobber because he will become a jobber, although they're trying to push him right now, and that would be Jesse or J-Dog or whatever his name is now.
John Cena ripoff.
Maybe, but at least he looks more talented in the ring than John Cena, and he knows how to take a 3 count.
Well, you want to talk about your jobbers. Your jobbers may be decent, but we have the more entertaining ones that make people tune in to Raw, such as my favorite, Santino Marella, who's very entertaining. We have, even though he hasn't been on there for a while, we have Festus. When that bell rings and he goes like, eh, it's kind of funny. And we also have Chavo Guerrero. Now, you must admit, he's a good, talented wrestler, but unfortunately,
since leaving SmackDown and becoming a jobber on Raw.
Yes, I do admit that. That is sorry, but we have to make there are a little bit of setbacks for some superstars when they come to Raw. But
is that a disclaimer in their contract?
You know what? Anyways, we also have my other personal favorite, jobber, who should have probably, in my opinion, hung up the tights a long time ago, Mr. Ho! Hacksaw Jim Duggan. He may be old as fart, but he is still entertaining. Ho!
I think we're ready for the next question.
question. Wrestling White, do you think that Raw has had the greatest impact over the last decade, and why?
Definitely they have had an impact. You know why? Because Raw, let me just go down here. Raw has been on for 15 plus years and counting, which is way longer than SmackDown has. And also, quite recently, we've had those special guest hosts on Raw, and even though they've been hit or miss, at least we never had Vicky Guerrero as the general manager as long as SmackDown did.
10 points.
And Raw's colors, their theme, it's red, which is passion. It represents passion and power. And that's what you see out of these superstars week after week is passion and power. And Raw, just from the very beginning, has been the staple of sports entertainment. We have seen everything come. We have seen Degeneration X. We have seen The Undertaker. We have seen many great superstars come and go. We have built people like The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin. And speaking of The Rock, if it wasn't for us creating The Rock and him not having that little catchphrase SmackDown, there would never be a SmackDown. And those are just some of the few things I could go into it, but I know we have short time when we answer these questions, but I just want to give you a simple taste.
Bobby?
SmackDown over the past decade has been around for a decade, and they have done nothing but raise the bar for Raw. People have tuned in to SmackDown to see the wrestling, and because of that, once WCW went under, SmackDown picked up the slack. SmackDown is the one who said, you know what? We need a talented show. So you can have all your little Santinos and your little Eugenes, and by the way, who they recently rehired and then fired, shows how booking on Raw is run. But you can see the track record that SmackDown, the high standard that SmackDown sets. With all the superstars that I have listed, including The Undertaker, CM Punk, John Morrison, Dolph Ziggler, Finlay, and many, many others, you can see how SmackDown has been raising the bar and making talent, not keeping them under the glass ceiling. The only sure superstar that has come out of Raw over the past decade is Randy Orton. Triple H was already established. Shawn Michaels was already established. Who else is around now? John Cena was developed and grown on SmackDown. And then once he was pruned and brought up, he was taken to Raw because Raw didn't want SmackDown to have their biggest moneymaker in the new era. Not to mention some of the best heels in history. John Bradshaw Layfield, might I add. You roll your eyes, but it is true. It's darn true. And that's Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle established the bar so high on SmackDown.
Don't forget, he was also on Raw as a heel, and he was a funny one at that. With the whole
what, when John Cena was running laps around him and Raw's creative team was basically holding Kurt Angle down? When Kurt Angle, in 2005 or 2006, Kurt Angle should have been the WWE champion, but no, they had to put their money in their pocket with John Cena, where we can see no talent. That's probably why SmackDown was willing to get rid of John Cena.
Well, you must be obviously a John Cena hater, but like I said, you can go on and on about all these phenomenal things, but the bottom line at the end of the day, Raw is a revolutionary show. Raw is the one who started it all. Raw was the one who was in a ratings war with Nitro. Raw was the one who kicked the crap out of Nitro. And Raw is still phenomenal. And Raw is still the #1 wrestling show on the planet right now.
So why would you say in just one phrase, why Raw is better than SmackDown?
Because
it doesn't matter why it's better than SmackDown! Because SmackDown is the pinnacle of awesomeness. Where did The Miz come from? You said, oh, great mic skills, everything. Miz came from SmackDown. Then to ECW. Might I add, SmackDown carried ECW through its early days. So you want to look at me and you want to tell me that Raw is better than SmackDown? SmackDown is the new, talented show the WWE has to offer. And I think there's more talent on ECW than Raw will ever have to offer as long as Triple H is under 16 world title reigns.
Can we move on?
Sorry about that. Of course we can. Sorry.
Thank you for joining us for this special edition. We will now let you go back to your regular lives.
It falls apart from the very start. It falls apart. Seems like everything I touch falls apart. Everything around me falls apart when I walk away from you.
But bottom line, wrestling fans, it doesn't matter which wrestling show you like, as long as you watch wrestling every week and be entertained. Thank you.
You're welcome.